How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? And we are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs continue their winning ways. They took the last two against the Yankees and continue that streak against the red-hot Red Sox in a beautiful 4-1 victory yesterday that took place at Wrigley Field. Colin Ray did his thing that he's been doing all season long. Will it ever end with Colin Ray? I sure hope not, but it feels like sometimes that the magic is running thin. But yesterday, one-run ball from the Cubs pitcher. He did walk more players than he usually does, but still was able to get the job done. Obviously, some great defensive plays all around by this Cubs team. PCA doubling up the runner at second in the middle innings to keep this game kind of at bay. The Red Sox had runners on first and second with nobody out. It was a line drive shot to PCA. I have no idea what the Red Sox player was doing, but he got off a little bit too far, and PCA threw a laser to second base, and honestly, that was that for that Red Sox scoring opportunity, and they never really threatened again in the ball game. But again, the tone was set in that first inning, right? The strikeouts by Ray and the very easy outs, it seemed effortless to him, and then you had two walks to Mr. Michael Busch, and then to Kyle Tucker, and then Seiya Suzuki swinging and driving it like the all-star he apparently wasn't. Either way, that put 3 runs on the board. Nico Corner drove in another one to make it 4-1, and that was all she wrote in this one. A pretty clean-cut ball game from the Chicago Cubs. You know, they're all not going to be blowouts. They're all not going to be losses. Sometimes you just got to go out there and take your victories. 5-1, 4-0, 4-1 like they did today. An absolutely stellar performance and a great way to respond from getting that break. Now, hopefully the Cubs can continue to push that division lead away from the Milwaukee Brewers over the next few days. Now, one keynote I didn't talk about this week. It started last Sunday. Michael Busch leading off. That was a very curious move. I saw it and I was like, why not, right? Ian Happ has been struggling. He's not a part of any trade rumors because he has a no-trade clause. But you know what? I think Ian Happ's value is better served at the bottom of the lineup. And I think Michael Busch, being protected by Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, and Pete Crow Armstrong, can truly benefit from being at the top of the lineup. And, I think it's worked out well so far. Obviously, it's a very small sample size. It's only been 2 games. But, hey, I like what I'm seeing so far. So, hopefully, they continue that trend tomorrow. Now, the Cubs president in baseball of operations, Jed Hoyer, did speak before the game, and he put it very bluntly to the media. The trade deadline, which is less than 2 weeks away. Again, for all your trade rumor coverage, you guys got to make sure you're locked into Cubs Daily. If you haven't liked the video yet, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're truly enjoying the content. I appreciate every single one of you who take the time to like, subscribe, and comment to the videos. I want to create an inclusive community for all thoughts to be a part of us here at Cubs Daily. So Jed Hoyer spoke to the media, and he kept it very simple and straightforward on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Here is what he had to say. No one is untouchable. I mean, it doesn't get much more straightforward than that, right? The Cubs need to do whatever they the Cubs need to do whatever they need to do to get the right players in. Now, they are balancing something pretty difficult here, right? Owen Casey is a power-hitting right fielder. Cubs have a great right fielder right now, but he may not be a Cub in the future. He's a free agent at the end of the season. So there's that internal struggle of like, hey, do we keep Casey as the insurance policy? A lot of people think he shouldn't be touched. We need to see how he does here in the big leagues, maybe during this season. I would like to call him up and see if he can get some run here for the current Chicago Cubs team, but I'm just not sure if that's going to be feasible given this roster. The Cubs are battling, developing their young players and winning a championship. So it's going to be curious to see what they do. Now, I do think if the Cubs make trade partners with Arizona, they are not going to be trading Casey or any of those top 5 prospects to get the likes of Gallen, Merrill, or Suarez, because those guys are rentals. Those guys are not going to be worth that kind of cheddar. Now, if they want to get some long-term help like a Luis Severino or a Mitch Keller, I don't think Casey would necessarily be what they cost, but I do think that, we'd have to go a little bit more up on the prospect list into the top 10, closer to the top 5. I don't think that would necessarily call for Jackson Wiggins or Jefferson Rojas, but again, someone's going to have to go. A lot of these guys are due up in 2025, so I'm curious to see what the Cubs do. Now, a name like Jonathan Long comes to mind, right? He's been killing it in the minor leagues. I'm not sure if he's going to kill it in the big leagues, but maybe that's the kind of guy we need to see if he's going to go kill it somewhere else. So, curious to see what the Cubs are going to get. They got a lot of prospects. I'm not sure how good they are. They could be overvalued. We are only going to see when the trades officially happen. Now, another name the Cubs have been talked about and have churned the mill over. The market for third base is pretty thin, right? It kind of goes Eugenio Suarez and then everybody else. The Cubs have mentioned rumors and murmurs about Brian Hayes. I'm not really sure if that's necessarily a step up from Matt Shaw. It's kind of more like a side-by-side move. He's a better hitter for now. I think Matt Shaw could be a better hitter than him down the road. But for a guy that's performing solid right now, that could be Willie Castro, okay? Willie Castro seems like a very solvable placement for third base for at least the rest of this season. He's been pretty solid. He hasn't been anything spectacular or special, but he's got a solid on-base percentage. He's got a solid OPS. This would be a significant improvement over the likes of Matt Shaw. And he's hit a little more power than Matt Shaw has. But again, Matt Shaw is a rookie. So Willie Castro is a possible solution for the third base woes, as the Twins are kind of struggling with, do they want to compete or do they want to sell? They're going to be leaning more towards selling because, unfortunately, they are way too behind in the AL Central race, and the AL wild card is an absolute mess with a lot of teams that are still in the competitive way to catch them. So Willie Castro is an interesting name. I want to hear your guys and gals' thoughts on Willie Castro. Is he a guy we really want? I don't think he's necessarily the prize. I think Eugenio Suarez would be more of the ideal placement, but maybe for a cheaper, lesser prospect, Willie Castro could serve this team for what we need him to do. Now, let's move on to game number 2. It's going to be showtime on Fox tomorrow. He's going to be facing Brian Bello. This is going to be a battle of two excellent pitchers. Shota's ERA is below 3. Bello is around 3.5. The Red Sox, who have been very, very hot, will look to bounce back from their performance yesterday. And again, their performance, they were getting on base, they were making things happen, but unfortunately a couple of untimely base running mistakes really did cost them in the stretch there. So I'm going to be excited for game 2. It's going to be at 6:15 tomorrow. Lots of great stuff going on at Wrigley, and then we're going to be going for the series win bare minimum on Sunday, but hopefully we can clinch that tomorrow. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys sound off down in the comments below your thoughts on Willie Castro. Maybe even mention a name that you've heard that I haven't even talked about yet. I would love to do some more research and talk about that with you guys right here on Cubs Daily. So I appreciate every single one of you. Again, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will be back for more. We'll talk soon.